Welcome back to Real Takes, where we are all movie love all the time. I'm Ann Stott, and it is the night before Thanksgiving, so I would like to acknowledge that I am taping this video from stolen land here on Cape Cod in Massachusetts. I would like to acknowledge the Nauset people, who were the original spiritual and physical stewards of this land, and also the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe, which is the current recognized tribe of Cape Cod. I'd also like to acknowledge the extreme strength of will that it has taken for First Nations peoples to survive in this country. And if you don't know the tribes of the land where you live, I'm going to link below to a website that can tell you the tribes that originally existed where you currently live, and maybe that can be a window into learning more of the history about, you know, those tribes and if they're still in existence in your area, what happened to them, etc. And we are actually talking about a Thanksgiving film, but it's not a traditional American Thanksgiving film, except it redefines what a traditional American Thanksgiving film is, and so then it is inherently American. We're talking about What's Cooking, which came out in 2000 and was directed by Gurinder Chadha and was co-written with her and her husband, Paul Burgess. And it centers around 4 families in Los Angeles: a Latino family, a Jewish family, a Black family, and a Vietnamese American family. In the 24 hours, basically, of Thanksgiving. I think it starts the night before Thanksgiving, but then it's mostly Thanksgiving Day following these 4 different families. And I saw this movie when it came out in 2000. I was thoroughly charmed by it. I own the DVD, and I'm always sort of surprised about how few people have seen it or know about it, because it's very sweet and heartwarming, and yet really explodes a lot of myths and was profoundly ahead of its time in terms of films being made in the United States. So Gurinder Chadha has said that, first of all, she's British Indian, and so it's fascinating that she made this kind of heartwarming Thanksgiving movie, but her husband had grown up in LA, and so she spent some time in LA and had these sort of non-traditional Thanksgiving experiences, which gave her this window into all the different ways that different cultures have embraced the idea of Thanksgiving and the food and family and how that plays out. And so she has said that her work, in terms of the work she made in England, was about exploding what it means to be British. And this film sort of explodes what it means to be American and celebrate this holiday that has troubled history. Let's just leave it at that. So we get this very real emotional look at the dynamics happening in these 4 families that have their own different experiences of Americanness. And the casts in this film are the cast is incredible. So the 4 matriarchs of these families are played by Mercedes Ruel, Alfre Woodard, Lanie Kazan, and Joan Chen. So, I mean, for that alone, one could want to see the movie too. But then the rest of the cast is fantastic. It includes Dennis Haysbert, Maury Chankin, Kyra Sedgewick, Julianna Margolies, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And first of all, the food is incredible in this film. Like, in each family, there's a lot of focus on food. And if you're not hungry by the end of this movie, I really don't know what to say. It's mouth-watering looking at all this food. And then, and all the different ways the food is prepared. And yeah, the food's incredible. But Gurinder Chadha has said that that one of the ways the movie is sort of original is that it's joyful. And, in 2000, certainly in terms of Hollywood, any film that was about any marginalized group of people in the United States was often like a struggle story. Certainly the movies about Black communities that were getting made were about like the, one unusual person who makes it, or the struggle for civil rights, or that sort of thing. And so each of these movies, each of these families is having their own serious internal real family stuff, but they're also kind of hanging in there with each other and celebrating family. And so it was a much more kind of human look at the lived experiences of these families at the time. And then Gurinder Chadha said part of the reason we don't know about the movie is that distributors and producers loved it, but when it came time to distribute it, a lot of distributors passed because they were like, well, do we distribute to the Black community? Do we distribute to the Asian American community? What do we do? Like, who do we sell this movie to? Because it really was this, celebration of kind of humanity across a multicultural experience. So, oh my God, I was about to start wrapping up and I forgot things. So Gurinder Chadha, of course, went on to direct Bend It Like Beckham and Blinded by the Light, and has had a long career in film and TV. And she herself has said that all of her films have been about putting people on screen that we don't usually see there and doing it in a way that's open and affectionate and subverts stereotype. And that's exactly what this film is. And I also want to say, I'm like talking around this, but now that I've watched back the video, like this movie is really a great example of universality through specificity. So they didn't write a sort of like made for TV, like we're all really the same movie. They wrote a movie where they really dug into like the culture of each of these families. And through that, as Julianna Margolies said in an interview about the film, like, then it's like, at some point you realize, oh, it's just family stuff and the shades of it are different and some of the questions might be different, but it's still family dynamics, right? So, they really accomplished that thing of going deep into the specifics and embracing the heterogeneity of, experience to then bring us back to the universal human experience. But you can also just watch this as a really sweet movie and have a nice night with it. So now, oh, wait, no, one more thing. So they really wanted to use a Beach Boys song at the end of the film because it's shot in LA. And the producers, this was a very independent film, even though they got all these amazing star actors to be in it. That was a stroke of luck. And the producer said, we're never going to be able to afford a Beach Boys song. So Gurinder Chadha wrote a long letter to Brian Wilson explaining the film and what it was about and what it would mean. And to give you a sense of the fact that this was a different time, she faxed it to him, thinking she might never hear back. And she heard back right away saying he loved the idea, and they got a Beach Boys song at a very competitive rate. So lovely movie all around. I'll go back to my original wrap up now. So if you haven't seen What's Cooking, please watch it. If you have, comment below. It's just a sweet, lovely, smart, beautiful, original take on this American holiday. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you can see other videos, and I will see you next Wednesday. Thanks for watching Real Takes. Hit the subscribe button below so the algorithms will tell you when new episodes are out. And if you want to support Real Takes, please visit my Patreon page where you can join at any tier from $2 to $100 per thing I make. The $15 tier is specifically about supporting Real Takes, and you'll get behind the scenes information and be thanked in future videos. See you next Wednesday.